From the Washington Post, inside the civil rights campaign to get big tech to fight the big lie. For months, civil rights groups have unsuccessfully pleaded with big tech companies to bolster their election policies. Correction. A group of activists are lying about what individuals have said and what they believe in an effort to get their political rivals banned. And the problem is, no matter how many times they say it, YouTube looks at the content and goes, they're not breaking the rules. So right now, I have to wonder about us being shadow banned. And I think we are. The weird thing is our clips that we post from this show are doing really, really well. They're doing better than ever. And the live show seems to they're not sending out notifications for it. A lot of people try to justify this saying, oh, well, maybe you're posting too many clips. Now we're doing the exact same thing we've always done.
Yeah.
We do like 4 clips per day and then we do the show. They're not sharing the show. So if you want to help us fight back against the censorship, because there's nothing they can do, share the video, be the notification. That's the best we can do. Otherwise, they win. So here's what happens. I get hit up by some journalists from the Washington Post. We talked about it a little bit. They mentioned Jack Posobiec. They mentioned me. They mentioned a few other people. And they claim that we rose to prominence in 2022 pushing the big lie.
Incredible.
They email me. This is fascinating. And this woman is like, so you're included on a list of 77 individuals who have claimed Biden hasn't won fairly. And I was like, when did I claim Biden didn't win fairly? Like, pretty sure I'm constantly saying Biden did win. And been ragged on by Trump supporters for doing so. And the left made a video compilation of me mocking me for saying Biden won. So like, what's your point? She sends me a list of tweets. She's like, here's the tweets where you've called out fraud. And I'm like, okay. And the tweets are like, Elizabeth Holmes convicted of fraud, GoFundMe accused of fraud. And
Amazing.
I was like, what does this have to do with the election? And so they include me still in this story. And so what I think's happening is that YouTube, they're politically biased. What I think's happening is we keep getting these stories where they try and claim that we've broken the rules. But no matter what, if YouTube took us down claiming we did, I'd sue them in 2 seconds for breach of contract because I know the rules and we did not break them. So what can they do? In the background, they can shadow ban. They can do things like this to suppress the views, make sure people can't see it. And then they can try and appease the activists and be like, oh, look, we're doing everything we can to reduce misinformation. But they can't explicitly take action against us. It has to be subversive.
Well, and the other thing is, who do they choose to elevate, right? And it's not it's not just YouTube, but like if you look at the recommended videos or recommended podcasts in the Apple Podcast app or the stuff they're highlighting for that month. I mean, have you ever seen a conservative show up there?
Never.
No. Ever?
Never. Why? So people have pointed this out all the time. We regularly will, we had, like in the past month, 60-something thousand concurrent viewers. It's political off season. During the 2020 election, we were getting 150,000 concurrent viewers on the show, never trending. Like that should have been featured as their top trending live show or one of them, and they just would never do it. So like outright, they try and silo shows like this, content like this. Now that we're into the October surprise time frame, it's no surprise that we're now hearing people being like, I can't find the show. It's not popping up. Some people are saying it doesn't even appear on our page itself. That they have to go to timcast.com or type in the URL manually, youtube.com/timcastirl/live. And once again, if everybody who's watching just shares it and posts the link, there is nothing they can do to censor it. Shadow banning won't work then.
Yeah, YouTube essentially decides if people will ever see your content or not. And there's many different underhanded things that they could do to make sure people never see you. Even though you have a large subscription base, even though you're consistent, even though you have a schedule, it doesn't matter. I've been through it all throughout my entire YouTube career, and they could mess with you in the search. I remember I couldn't even find my YouTube channel. And I typed in, We Are Changed. I typed in exact titles of videos that I did. Couldn't even find it. They do it through, of course, limiting notifications, demonetizations, downranking in the algorithm. And of course, who do they promote? CNN, CBS News, horrible track record, horrible organizations that I don't even call news organizations. They are propaganda organizations that have been caught multiple times lying on purpose, spreading disinformation, hurting people with the misinformation that, of course, they spread to the general public and having a huge negative effect on the general public, pushing, of course, partisan bullcrap rather than, of course, actual news. And the people who do promote actual news, we get hurt by the algorithm since, of course, there's this favoritism on YouTube, which elevates those voices that you were just mentioning.
So I'm curious what everyone's thoughts are on this, but what do you think is the answer to that? Because I mean, the way I see it is, you want to diversify, number one, and be available in multiple places, lots of places, hopefully across many different platforms. But I also think the conservative movement, anybody who cares about liberty in this country should get invested in creating our own platforms and our own tech and do everything. Like Mao said, let 1,000 flowers bloom. Try a bunch of different things, but like also build your own ecosystem at some point for when the day comes where like no notifications go out for the show, right? And they totally block the account.
I mean, I think so. Part of me thinks that maybe 10 years ago, 5 years ago, maybe even, that would be, something that would be possible. But it's gotten to the point where the left has gone on offense so effectively that like, okay, you can try to start your own platform, but they're going to make sure that you can't bank anymore.
Right. So it's a really good point because they get to the root of the internet, right? Like we're not even just talking about like front end platforms now. They're talking about banking. We're talking about servers, right?
Yeah. They're like, your website can't be hosted.
Yeah.
You can accept $0.
But you can solve that problem, with the servers. You could be off AWS, for example, or whatever. But the banking part is really, really interesting.
And they've gotten very effective at trying that. Like their entire strategy has moved. Like, you used to be able to be a libertarian, I think, right? And it made sense. It was kind of like, leave me alone, live and let live. But at this point, that's not good enough. They don't want to let live. They will continue pushing forward. So basically, at this point, you're left with nothing but like you have to fight back.
What they can't get done through government, they get done through other institutions
now,
or corporations.
Corporations, which are basically another left-wing entity.
Take a look at this. So I found it on. So it was on my phone. It's called Hit Pause, and this is one of these videos was in my feed automatically. But it was like when you open the YouTube app, you can see like the username, the video, and then the name of the video, or whatever. These had their own special box. Let me actually see if I can pull it up on my phone and then actually just show you this way, because it's certainly not, I don't know, I wouldn't call it normal how it popped up on my my feed.
It's 2,000.
So take a look at this.
Yeah.
It's like it takes up the whole phone.
There you go.
With a YouTube featured, can you spot the manipulation, learn more. This is not a normal YouTube thing. And it's happening right when the election's going on and are about to kick off. I mean, early voting is starting relatively soon. This is YouTube manipulating the election. Hands down. Big tech is manipulating the election on purpose. They are interfering. But you know what? I'm willing to bet there's going to be like I'll say one, maybe upwards of 5 Republicans who actually say anything. And even if they do, they're going to sit down in front of big tech and they're going to be like, so you're choosing what can and can't be seen. And they're going to go, well, we're trying to combat misinformation. And they're going to go, I shake my fist at that. And I'm going to write a sternly worded letter to you. And that's the end of it. Then the Republicans are going to lose. And there you go. Congratulations.
So I think in terms of the political arena, I think the important part right now is we're in a situation where Democrats have the House, the Senate, the White House, right? We need to take control of at least one branch.
And the corporate media. And big tech social media.
And big tech social media. So ideally...
And Hollywood.
And I mean, that's what we're up against.
And the music industry.
I mean, that's what we're up against.
and the higher institutions of learning.
This is getting pretty depressing.
Yeah,
So the thing is that we have to take a majority in either, the House or the Senate or both, hopefully, that we can get a majority. And that's when we start holding our representatives, our senators' feet to the fire. Because without having a majority, you're just, what can you do? You're getting railroaded.
Well, and if you have the House, if you have the gavel in the House, then you have the power to investigate, the power to subpoena, right? And that's an incredibly powerful thing to have. So, yeah, I mean, getting a House majority in particular would be very useful for investigating some of this stuff. The one thing I would say, though, also, look, I think the internet has been great for libertarians and conservatives. I think the internet is probably the most democratizing force in politics in the history since the printing press, right? And I think there's more of us than there are of them. And so the internet is obviously a place where finally we get to rebalance the teams, right? The corporate media is never going to give us an equal share. But on the internet, we have a chance. I think the big problem that we have with big tech or, any of this stuff, this shadow banning and everything, is they're really responding to government incentives, right? Because, their business model is, let's make as much money as we can. Let's serve as many ads to people as we can. Let's get as many users as we can. The only thing that threatens that is the government. Right? And so they're going to respond to those incentives in a way that says, I want to work with you. You know, oh yeah, we'll regulate content. The people that you don't like, you know, we're going to shadow ban. So you're going to feel better about the content that the voters are seeing in this country. But, you know, if we get power, what's going to happen? You know, are they going to flip around and start banning a bunch of liberals? No, probably not.
Nope. Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. But if you want to check out the full show live, tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. And if you want more special access content, head over to timcast.com and become a member. Your membership helps sustain this company, keep our journalists employed, makes this show happen, and you will get access to exclusive members-only segments of the Timcast IRL podcast. And there's a massive library to check out. So again, go to timcast.com or tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and we'll see you all there.